Okay, section 2.10, verifying solutions. This can get a little tricky, so um, take it a little more slowly than the last section that we have. All right, so the first one is they want us to explore this equation, chemical equation. It's not a mathematical equation because there's no equal sign. Uh, it looks like we have a couple of elements here, maybe a molecule, and they're telling us that it's the same as this expression is the same as this expression. Okay, so um, they use the table that the left side has one RA and the H has four of them because you got two here, two H's here. And let me zoom in a little bit here so we can see. Okay. And we've got two elements of hydrogen times two. So that gives us four elements. And let's see, we've got two elements of the oxygen. So on the right-hand side, just different color, right-hand side, let's see, we got one element of the Ra. I suppose if I read the whole paragraph, I would know what Ra is. Let's see, we've got hydrogen. Well, I've got two hydrogens here and two hydrogens here. There's a subscript there. It gives us the four. Two of the oxygen here. So they're saying that these two expressions or chemical equations are exactly the same. And they want us to go ahead and do some examples here. Well, let's take a look at the left-hand side. There's the left-hand side. Okay, hydrogen. Well, I've got two atoms of hydrogen, and it's also being multiplied by two, so I get four on the left-hand side. Same with the oxygen. I have two elements of the oxygen, and it's being multiplied by two, so I have four on the left-hand side. Right-hand side. Let's see, I have two elements of the hydrogen being multiplied by two, so that gives me four hydrogen. Here I have one element of the oxygen times two, that gives me two elements of the oxygen, plus two more elements of the oxygen, that gives me four. So this is confirmed that they are definitely equal. This one looks a little more complicated. Let's see. We've got, looks like we've got nitrogen, hydrogen, and oxygen. So nitrogen, let's say I've got subscript 2, so it gives me 2 of the n's, times 2 is 4, plus another 2 here, so that's 6. Hydrogen, we've got 4 hydrogen, times 2 is 8, that's it. And then no oxygen there. I have oxygen with the 4 subscript, so I got 4 elements of oxygen. Right-hand side. You see I've got 2 subscript 2, so 2 nitrogen times 3 is 6 nitrogens. No nitrogens here. Hydrogen, I've got 2 hydrogen subscript 2 times 4 is 8. And here I've got 1 oxygen times 4 is 4. So this one checks. They're balanced. C. C, I've got left-hand side. Let's see, how many elements? Hydrogen, potassium, oxygen. I think that's potassium. I don't know if that's potassium. Calcium, oxygen, hydrogen, Ca. Okay, H's. I'm going to do this off to the side. Let's see, I've got 3 H's times 2 is 6. Let's see, I've got 2 H's here times 3 is another 6, so it gives me 12. P, maybe potassium, I don't know what it is, I'm not a chemist. Let's say I got 1 P here times 2 is 2, and that there's no P's here, so 2 P's. Oxygen, we got it in several places, so I'm going to do it to the side. 4 oxygen times 2 gives me 8, plus 2 oxygen times 3 is 6, gives me 14 oxygen. And then Ca, I've got 1, take it as calcium. Ca, 1 Ca here times 3 is 3. And that's it for the left side. Right side. Let's say I got 3 CAs. So I'm going to do that backwards. Okay, I've got, looks like I got only the P here. So subscript 2 gives me 2 P's. And oxygens, I got on both of them, so I'm going to have plus. Let's see, 2 subscript oxygens, so 2. 1 subscript oxygen times 6 is 6. It gives me 8. Ooh, no, it does not. 2, I got 4 here, so that gives me 8. This one should be 8. Gives me 14. Much better. And then the hydrogens. 2 hydrogens times 6 is 12. That much. So they give a little explanation about chemistry and what it means to have a balanced equation. So in algebra, it works the same thing. You must have an equation that can be solved. All right, for example, when they give us an equation and they give us a value for x, we are supposed to determine whether that statement is true. So we go ahead and put our parentheses like we did yesterday. We put our parentheses around variables. Does that equal -7? And our x value is 3. Well, let's work it out. See, 2, watch your PEMDAS. Multiplication before subtraction. So 2 minus 3 times 3 is 9. Does that equal -7? And 2 minus 9 does indeed equal -7. Okay, B. So you have 14 divided by, this is a quantity, don't break it up or anything. We're going to substitute in a value for x, -1, -4. And for our x value, we're using the value 2, x equal 2. Okay. Oh, does that equal 10? Okay, so let's go ahead. 14 divided by, we do them separately. 2 minus 1 is 1, -4. Does that equal 10? And anything over 1 is itself, so 14 minus 4 is indeed 10. So that one checks, that's a verified. C, does the square root of 2x minus 1 equal 8? square root of 2 parentheses x for the x minus 1, does that equal 8 minus x? And for the x, we have the value 5. Okay, square root inside the square root can't go outside the square root. So I have 10 minus 1. Does that equal 8 minus 5, which is 3? And the square root of 10 minus 1 is 9. The square root of 9 is indeed 3. So this checks. D. Let's see, I have negative. Now that negative sign is not parentheses in the x, so parentheses the x squared plus 5x plus 14. Does that equal 0? And our x value, negative 2. Okay, negative 2 squared is 4. 4 times negative is negative 4. 5 times negative 2 is negative 10. Plus 14, does that equal 0? We're verifying. Negative 14, or negative 4 minus 10 is negative 14. Plus 14 is 0. And sure enough, we verified it. E, 2 raised to the x minus 1 minus 8, does that equal 0? Let's see, our 4, our x. So I have 2 to the 4 minus 1, which is 2 cubed, minus 8. Does that equal 0? See, 2 cubed is 8, minus 8 does indeed equal 0. And they just explained the whole process we did. You substitute the value of the variable into the equation. Then you simplify both left-hand side and right-hand sides. And if it's true, then it's a solution. If it's false, this came out like 9 minus 8, that would be false, and that would not be a solution. Of course, if you remember way back from your systems of equations, you can have exactly one solution to an equation, no solutions, or many solutions. Remember, these are crossing lines, these are parallel lines, and these are the same line. Okay. 3a, simplify each side of the equation. So I'm going to distribute. I have negative 6x, negative 3 times negative 1 is positive 3, minus x plus 8. Does that equal distribute negative 7 times x, negative 7x, negative 7 times 1 minus 7 plus 18. Let's say I'm going to get my x's on one side, or actually, before I solve it, I'm going to combine like terms. Okay, let's see what we get. Minus 6x minus 1x minus 7x plus 3 plus 8 plus 11. Negative 7x is by itself. And then minus 7 plus 18 plus 11. Look at that. They're the same. That's what I noticed. Confirm that x equal 1, x equals 0, and x equal -4 are solutions to the equation without using, okay, so I think that's part 1. Without using algebra, state one or more solutions to this equation. So let's confirm that 1, 0, and -4. Now let's see. So x equal 1. -7 times 1 plus 11. Does that equal -7 times 1 plus 11? Well, of course it does. Okay, -7 plus 11 is 4, -7 plus, and that's going to happen to all three of these solutions. -7, x equals 0 plus 11, -6, because it's the same equation. Okay, so we could have just said that without using algebra. It's the same equation. So that's part 1. We should do 4, -4. But part 2 is they're the same equations without algebra. Okay, describe the solutions to the equation. Well, there's going to have infinitely many solutions because no matter what we choose, it's going to be the same. And no matter what we choose for x, it's always going to equal each other. Okay. In the last problems, known as the identity, each side contained the exact same terms. So yeah, of course, they're the identity. Use the following table to identify the solutions to the equation x squared equals 5x plus 24. Well, the solutions is if these two are equal. Let's see. Left hand, if I plug in -4 for x, on the left side, I get -4 squared is 16. -4 times 5 is -20 plus 24 is 4. So the only one here where I get the left side and the right side equal, left side, right side equal, is, let's see here, when x equals -3. So if I were to look at this, by the way, this is your table on your calculator. If you plug that into the y equals, and you can actually see from this table, there's exactly one solution. And that's it for 2.10, verifying solutions.